your group analyzed these sources within the context of that prompt. First of all, let me point out the meat, the substance, the body of your essay wants to see document evidence. Now, does this mean you need to pick your favorite quote or the best quote and just throw down a bunch of quotes? Do they want you to just quote a particular phrase or sentence for each document? How many of you, now, you have a limited amount of time. This isn't like a 20-page, research paper or term paper. You need to get to the point about what this document is about. They don't want to see your quotes. They know what's in the document. They gave you the document, okay? They want to know what you think about the document. So don't waste any time with quotes, unless it's just like really vital, or unless you can't think of a quick way to put it in your own words. Fine, it's okay to drop it every now and then. But generally speaking, if you want credit for that document, you need to just look at document A and you need to decide, okay, what is this about? And say it in a sentence or two. According to document A, X. Okay? First of all, how many of you could only hope that you would be analyzing woodcuts from 1779? Yeah, exactly.
Wait, my whole life.
Yes. Now, whenever you get a source, what is always the first thing you should look at, whether it's at the top or at the bottom, what should you always look at first? The actual, it's kind of like the legend of a map, okay? Figure out, okay, when is this, who wrote this, who produced this, so we see woodcut of a patriot woman, 1779. So, Massachusetts, 1779, all right? Is that significant?
Yes.
Yeah, immediately the red flag should be, this is in the middle of what? The Revolutionary War. It's not the beginning of the war. It's not the very end when the thing is won. This is in the middle. So are these desperate times? So desperate that who's getting a gun? Yeah. All right, so think again about what we're trying to do here. Every source should contribute to this chart, to this thesis. What is this? Political or social? Social. Okay, this is going to deal with gender. Okay, the expectations for gender. All right. Does this represent a social continuity or a social change? Okay. What'd you say? Okay. I thought you said change and continuity. You're right if you did. Did you say change and continuity?
Somebody else said con.
Okay, let's look at the change first. What's the obvious change?
I mean, a woman is
Yeah.
doing main things.
Right? We have this paradigm that the lens we look through to say, well, women don't hunt. And the more I talk this, the more I realize there's a lot of hunters out there. Okay, a lot of women doing some deer hunting. Okay, and that are offended whenever I say women don't hunt. No. Oh no, okay? So definitely this time and place, this is, I don't want to say controversial, but this is a change. This is a shift in the way of thinking. You don't generally see women, colonial women, walking around with muskets, powder horns, and wearing a man's cap or man's hat. Okay? So, how does that contribute to the prompt? Well, this represents a social change because women are needed to be involved. Now, this isn't necessarily to say that they're on the front line, shoulder to shoulder. But if you ever watched, did y'all watch Turn on AMC about the Washington spies? No. If you've ever watched these war movies about the periods, the times, especially back then, there's a group of women that are camping with the army. They're not just nurses. They're actually they're feeding. They're also providing ammunition. Molly Pitcher is the famous revolutionary example. Bringing buckets of water to cool down the cannons. So yeah, it's like all hands on deck kind of thing. We need women as well. We need the support of women. So that's a social change to put women there in the sphere of the battlefield. Is there a continuity though? Where's her combat pants?
No.
What? that's the way we like to fight, right, ladies? That's the way we like to hunt. That's the way, when we go outdoors. That's, yeah, okay? Wear a dress. So what is the implication here? Yeah, they're still women. I'm not big on like historical fashion, sorry, or even, women's hair in general. But I'm looking at the hair and I'm assuming that hair is not like rolling right out of bed either. Okay, I think that she is still working on the hair. And see how we're analyzing different parts of this. Every time you get an image, there's layers. Okay, there's a whole degree of like of specificity that you can look at here. So she's wearing a dress. It looks like she still cares about her hair. Is that a social continuity? A social expectation for how women are supposed to look while they're helping us on the battlefield? Yeah. And do they want the audience to see that? They want the audience to see, well, yeah, we need your help, but let's just keep gender roles, maintained at some level. All right? Make sure you're still pretty while you do it. All right? That is complexity, people. When you do that, when you stop and say this source contributes to both, you're saying, hey, I understand that there is a balancing act here. I understand that there's a whereas statement. There's an in spite of statement. There's an although statement here. This is complex because in some ways, yes, this is radical change. In other ways, it's staying the same. You see that? This is like the Rosie the River. You're familiar with the iconic Rosie the River image of World War II. You will be, okay, when you cover World War II, Rosie's flexing, got the bicep much better than mine, okay? But she's still, even though she's working in the factory to support the war efforts, okay, doing man's work in the factory, is what they would, say back then. She's still got some makeup on. I think she has an earring on. So it's like she's still got that, here's a fun word to use, femininity, okay? She still has that femininity even though she's doing a manual labor type job, all right? Have you ever seen the other Rosie? The Rosie that didn't make the cut?
No.
Okay, the one you've seen is the iconic image that basically got the stamp of approval. They use that to try to, boost support, get more women involved, country involved, etc. All right? There's another Rosie. She is much stronger than this Rosie. She looks like, the one we chose, the one that history chose, looks like she could bench press me. The other Rosie looks like she could bench press a house. Okay? She's eating a sandwich. She's got dirt or, something all over her face. There's no makeup. Okay? I mean, she looks like she's right in the middle of the factory. Why didn't society choose that Rosie to represent?
Wasn't realistic.
Right, there still is this overarching expectation. Okay, we need you to do this job, this manual labor job, but let's remember to be feminine in the process. Okay, the social expectation there. Again, and I don't like it either, ladies. You're shaking your head. I don't like it either. Okay, you just want that known on record. But that's the complexity. All right, that they're trying to get you to see. There is a change, but something is still staying the same. The most important box here, of course, is the bottom one, because whatever you say here, you want to connect it back to the prompt. That's showing the evidence. By the way, do you have to do this for every single document? You're given 7, and the way the rubric is now, if you successfully analyze 6, you get 2 points. Okay, so again, it's like 8 or 9 multiple choice questions correct. If you are low on time, or you're a slow writer, or whatever, and you successfully analyze 3, you get a point. In the old days, it was 6, all or nothing. And people hated that because students would have like 5 analyzed correctly, and they got 0 points there. And that's just, we didn't think that was fair, okay? So you have a document that you don't have to even insert, that you don't have to touch, all right? That's okay. Now, I would recommend you find a place for it anyway, because if you're trying to get both points, let's say you decide, okay, I'm only gonna analyze 6. And I know how we are, I was a teenager too, I would just give me the bare minimum, okay, 6, I'll take 6. I don't like that woodcut anyway, alright? If you're wrong on one, if you analyze only 6 and you're wrong in your interpretation of it, or how you use it, you can't get both points. So I would recommend you try to analyze all 7, that way if you're wrong on one, you're not gonna lose anything, okay? They're gonna give you points for what you have, not for, it's not like minus, 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 okay, if you get something wrong. But you will not get that point if you only have like 5 that are correct, or 2 that are correctly analyzed. For the point of view part, there's a point there, and what they're asking you to do there is 3 docs. You don't, luckily, I know it takes forever to go through and do this for every single document, right? You don't have enough time for that. Now what they say is like historical context, or audience, or purpose, or author's point of view. What they're really asking is, why did this person write this document at this time, and is it valid? Is it reliable? Okay? So you don't have to address all of these. Maybe the context of this is the middle of a war would be worth addressing. So you discuss that, and ultimately what it's saying about gender, and if it's a change or a continuity, and you've analyzed that document in 3 or 4 sentences. And you just have to repeat and repeat, okay? Do that 6 times or 3 times, preferably 6, okay? Make sense? You get this? Again, it's or. It's not like you have to do every one of these. It's audience or purpose or point of view, but you definitely need to connect it to the prompt somehow. And that's your explanation, your interpretation of the document. All right? What is this? Outside evidence. What is it? Yeah, some kind of specific actual information. So in the old days, they used to have this rubric point that said, okay, what other source do you not have that would have been helpful? And students hated that. What do you mean what other source? I mean, really? You want me to come up with a historical source? So now it's just, okay, give me some other background evidence. Is there anything within the Revolutionary era? And it can't be your context. It can't be what we led into this with in the opening paragraph. That will not count anymore. All right? So within the body, if you're writing about a political change, for instance, is there something you can say about the Congress? Is there something you can say about, socially, about using African Americans in battle and them being promised their freedom if they fought? You know, is there something you can say that's not in the documents but something you know? So we hope, this is where we hope really that this question is within our wheelhouse, because generally students like the DBQ. I know you don't like the DBQ, but you feel like you can do the DBQ because you have the sources. This is the part where you need to reach beyond the sources. What do I know here that would fit? What historical fact do I know? And it can't just be a simple phrase. You need to kind of explain it with 2 or 3 sentences why it fits. All right? So between these, we've got the potential of 2.11, so a total of 4 points right here. Again, that is equivalent of about 16 to 20 multiple choice questions correct. That's almost, I mean, we're getting closer to half. If you do this right. It's important. All right? Look at B. Look at document B. I heard some people trying to figure this out. Okay. What is document B about? What? Okay, I'm here. I heard slavery. Is it? What leads you to believe it's? What leads you to think it's slavery? What term? Okay, the word slavery. Now you got to be careful. Just because they use the word slavery, could I say, my wife has got a list of things for me to do right when I get home. Alabama, Tennessee kicks off at 2:30, and I got to do A. I feel like I'm such a slave to my wife. Could I say that? Am I really talking about the actual institution of slavery? No. So you got to be careful, okay? Don't let a single word drive your interpretation. You got to read multiple sentences, okay? What is it really about? Okay, it is. And who specifically are they wanting to banish? People that are what?
American.
Okay, and who are these people? They're over in England, right? Yeah, there we go. The Tories, from the perspective that they were speaking from, the Tories are the loyalists. Okay? They're the people that think your revolution is wrong. We are loyal to the king, we're loyal to Parliament, y'all are trying to wreck the whole ship, and I hope you all hang for it. Okay? Alright? Ben Franklin and his son, William Franklin, would not really ever speak again. Because Ben obviously was revolutionary, or became a revolutionary. William was a loyalist. I mean, it tore their family apart. Alright? I mean, real stories. So, this is about how to treat the Tories. And notice again, context, do we need to stop and look at when it was written? We sure do. What do you notice about the date yet again? Yeah, same as the other one. We're right in the thick of things. We don't know which direction this is going to go. There's obviously, whenever you're afraid of losing, okay, I mean, let's use it, because we're in the South, let's use a football analysis. This rivalry between Alabama and Tennessee, is Alabama worried about this game today?
No.
No, it's like we're already looking down to Auburn and SEC championship game, okay? All right, because it's not a threat. These people are still threats. We're not sure how this war is going to end. So they're looking at all these Tories amongst them, and some of them are speaking to the British and pointing out like patriot camps and movements and families that are supporting patriots. So they want these people exposed, okay? They want these people pulled out. So let me ask you this, where does it fit? We're talking about Tories, we're talking about people that, in many cases, were their neighbors. Just a few years ago, they were like sharing sugar with each other, okay? Okay, you think it's political change? All right, I like that. Why is it both? Who said that?
Okay.
Because you have a good idea, you got to explain it, right? There's always a because. Why is it both?
Because we're talking about a specific group in the society.
Okay, yeah, a specific group. These aren't just, oh, some people over there. This is, again, our neighbors. People from our community, ship them out. They're not loyal to our cause, they're loyal to the crown. So we're talking about something politically, we want to have them denied of all their rights. We want to have the property taken away from them. This is also, in a way, it says, okay, don't hang out with these people, right? Can you see that? Like, what if do we see from reading this, oh, but they're still our buddies, they're coming over later, we're going to have a big barbecue. No, there's a separation, there's a split here, okay? So, very good, because you put it in both categories, what are you earning? Complexity. Again, the more you can look at a source and say, yeah, I see where it fits here as a change, or a political change, I can also argue in another sense, how it's a social change too. There's a complexity to that. And that's what they're looking to see. Can you do that? Can you show that I understand multiple layers, multiple issues here? Okay? Make sense? Yeah, so always look. Don't just look for face value. Try to ask yourself, is there another meaning? Is there another layer? Because that's what really that's the separation that they're looking for in your writing. Can you separate yourself and show that you have the complexity, you understand the complexity? And the more sentences you set up like this, not just the thesis, but even within the body, the more times you use while, in spite of, although, you're setting up for that complex statement. And they will love this. Whereas, okay, that's how you need to approach history. It's not black and white. You need to be able to see, again, both sides, all the issues. The more you can do that, the better off you are. Okay? Did you get to document C? Did you get to document C? C's brief, right? Easy. First of all, how would you categorize it? What is it?
Freedom of religion.
Okay, it has to do with freedom of religion. All right, so where does it fit?
Social.
What?
Social and political.
Yeah, social and political. All right. So yet again, another layer of complexity. We can use it for both. Is it a continuity or a change?
Change from England.
Okay, see, complex. This is where you need to think about religion leading up to this point in the New World. What do you know about religion in the British colonies?
Well, if there was some form of freedom of religion, but there was still persecution.
Okay, you're thinking about, and you probably no doubt think about like Scarlet Letter, New England. You got to be part of the church. You got to be a church member to participate in like the council. Okay, so you're thinking it's strict in some areas, but then you think the Great Awakening is taking place. Okay, we have different denominations. You also got to keep in mind who wrote this. Who wrote it? What is this part of? Yeah, okay, yeah, you're thinking Statutes of Large Virginia, House of Burgesses. This is Virginia is stating that we're going to separate the two. All right. Anything about Virginia religious history you would know? We don't concentrate as much there because we always think about aristocracy. A lot of it is like will become Episcopalian, like the Anglican Church, but there's others. There are others. There's Scotch-Irish. There's Calvinists. There's others in the backcountry. So does that tell you that Virginia probably has a diversity of religious groups? Yeah. Usually, when they're willing to, when the government's willing to say that, the reflection is, all right, we can't choose one. We can't pick one. We got different religions. We need to make sure there's an understanding. Okay. So saying all that and quickly analyzing as you will in like 30 seconds. All right. What do you like better? Change or continuity?
Continuity.
Okay. Again, you still can argue both. You can say it generally from world history perspective, from Western history, you know, that's the whole reason that America is being set aside as a city on a hill. It's something different. If you knew anything about the French Revolution, you know they're going to be like having a major issue with like taking Catholicism out of the French government following this. All right. They're even going to call off Christmas in the French Revolution because it's religious. Yeah. 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 Okay? So it's different, but you could also say, but we've seen in the colonies, this is a continuity in several places. We have the Quakers in Pennsylvania. We have the Catholics in Maryland. All right? So we can understand how this would be a continuity in another sense. So yet again, you can put it in both. And again, it could be, it's definitely a political document, so it could be there. It could be there. But could it also even be social with how we're worshiping? It could, because religion usually is more of a cultural, social issue. But notice, we probably want to use political first because we don't have a lot of political yet, and because this is coming from statutes, Virginia. All right? The challenge for you is going to be, can I do this in a short amount of time? Can I do this 6 times very quickly? Very quickly. Okay? All right, when you get to the concluding point, when you get to the conclusion paragraph,
It's about time.
about time. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
When you get to the conclusion, last thing I want to say, if you realize that your thesis has changed, don't go back and cross things out and waste time. Write your perfect thesis in the final paragraph. Okay, write it in the final paragraph. And any additional outside evidence or complexity you need to discuss, do it there as well. Okay? Thank you guys.